All right, everybody. I'm back. It's Friday. A little tired. Didn't think I was going to make it in today. So those that are coming in, I want to say welcome. It's kind of hard to get in here sometimes when you get off work and at a small dentist appointment. So if you don't like dentist appointments like me, you know what I mean about you don't feel too good after a dentist appointment. But you know what? We're gonna fight through this and do what we got to do at the end of the day. Let me just change something real quick. Get this frog out my throat for 1 second. Give me mute myself here. All right, I got this frog out my throat. You know what? I'm ready to go now. I'm leaning back in my chair, so I'm all ready to get into it. And as usual, we talk that talk when it comes to these spicy Republicans and these conservatives. We T Hill, welcome. Thank you for coming in, brother. And hey, we're gonna get right into it, right? We got the president of the United States signing a bunch of bills. Just did an executive order defunding. I don't know how to say it. I know what I want to say, but I can't say what I want to say. So I guess I got to try to clean it up, basically. And basically, listen, he's defunding Department of Education, and he signed executive order and all that stuff. And I'm not hearing anybody say anything on the other side of the aisle, right? And I think they should. Whether you love it or hate it, you should always voice your opinion. But I never get to see that on the other side of the aisle when these executive orders are being written. But the flip side to that is, and I want everybody to think about this, you hear it on replay, is we had a guy running as the vice president, Governor Walz, and there's a stark difference. And this is where you see the differences in the party. This is what I always try to talk about, the stark differences in the party, right? So with the current administration, he wants to defund Department of Education. And you got the VP, who was the running VP for the presidency, and he signed a bill in his state prior to being selected to basically, hey, we're going to give all kids free lunches, right? And he's got the kids there with him and they're hugging him and everything. And we've got the president of the United States. He has a photo op with kids also. But you think about the irony, he's taken away from the kids. He's not giving to the kids, he's taken away from the kids. You see, and he still has kids there like, oh, like they're happy about this. This is why I say Don the Con, right? And nobody seems to say anything about this. It's like, I don't get it, black or white, right? Americans, just say it that way. Even though I have a target that I'm going after, but I'm just gonna say Americans. How no one says anything about this, right? So you're getting rid of something that's there to benefit kids, and you have kids there like they're signing an executive order, right? But you're getting rid of something that can benefit them, and like always, man, I truly be wanting to understand how these guys call themselves Republicans. How do they align themselves with conservatism when there's nothing conservative about taking food from those who need it, right? And that's what Department of Education did. It doesn't do a curriculum. I'm gonna say it again for those in the back, because I know people will come in later on, and if they come up, ain't gonna be no coming up today. You either call in or done nothing at all. That's how we run it tonight. I'm not having a bunch of people coming up here with your Trump phone, cell phone signals horrible. Not gonna happen. You call in and it ain't got it, but we hang up on you. Keep moving. So that's their choice if they do, if any. And but we sitting here. I'm sitting here just looking at the whole thing and trying to figure out, like, okay, is this a joke? Is this truly a joke? What's going on in the White House? To have the kids there and you're moving something away from the kids. So it's like, okay, you know what? The American public, they don't care, right? Let's be honest. Majority of them don't care, especially if they're down in them red areas, as they call it, right? And they call them conservative red areas, but they're nothing but Democratic areas. If they ever knew their history, they would realize they're not Republicans or conservative Democrats. And it's vice versa. at the end of the day. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what, man, this just ain't making sense at all. What's going on and everything. And then we got the whole issue. Of course, we've got, how can I say it? Um, we've got my conservative brothers and sisters, and if y'all know what I'm talking about, the ones that look like a big rat with the Batman mask around their eyes. We've got those out there, and they're still talking about foolishness. They're not talking about anything that they was presenting to us, let's say 3-4 months ago, right? Uh, they've gotten off the Trump train, and I think what it is, everything that the president is doing, and I will call him the president. He is our president, whether I like it or not. That's just factual. And they've gotten off the train right now because they have been given marching orders on what to say. They haven't been told, well, what lie we talk about this week. So since they don't have a lie to talk about, they're focused back, like I say, on black women and a whole bunch of foolishness stuff, right? The same old stuff. I'm watching all these guys, these big conservatives, these big, I was about to say something. Try not to cuss. All these big manly, let me say it that way, these big manly conservatives. And at the end of the day, they keep resulting back to genderism, right? And as if that's what's on your mind all day. That's it. You can talk about whatever you want. That's what's on your mind. But then on the flip side, they'll come back with, we got to stand together as Americans because, it's going to be tough times. That ain't what you said. You didn't promote tough times. You promoted the good times. You see, that's what it is. And then they've got my white brethrens, conservatives also. They got them doing marching orders talking about the Gulf of Mexico. Oh, Trump's buying the Panama Canal, and it's going to make things great. Let me tell y'all imbeciles something. And this is the problem with a lot of these so-called conservatives, right? They only speak on what they're told to say. And they say the same thing over and over. So what they won't tell you is, and this is how idiotic they are. And this has been going on for a couple of years, right? China had already made a deal. They're cutting through Mexico and they're going to bypass the Panama Canal. So him buying it or calling it whatever, Black actually brought it, but him calling it something else to make it sound good, it's amazing to me how wordplay really works. One thing I can say, Trump has taught us all that the feeble-minded people are the most dangerous people because they're the most uneducated. You can just say whatever you want, and they will run with it. They will hook, line, sinker, bite it, right? But when it comes down to actual facts, you can't talk to them. You feel me? You end up wrecking your brain trying to talk to them, and it just this is where we're at, right? And I say it over and over, and I know y'all be like, "Come on, Theo, man, you can't come on we're live trying to kick nobody in the back." And yeah, I can. That don't mean I'm gonna kick them. Hey, they got the right to kick back. They want to kick back, kick back. But I'm gonna try to kick them in the back because I'm gonna call you out on everything that you spoke about up to the election. Because see, at the end of the day, if the tables were reversed, or as they say, the tables were turned, guess what? They will be doing the same thing, and rightfully so. I would respect them to do it. I would expect and respect them to be doing it, but they're not. So I'm gonna do it, right? And we're not doing this in a vicious way to try to demoralize anybody. That's not my style. But I like to call it out for what it is at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? That's what I like to do. And just looking at the whole thing and all this foolishness and rah talk, Trump's gonna. We're right now. We're going into a recession, and nobody's saying anything. Yeah, and I'm speaking to my conservative brothers. You're not saying anything about what's going on financially. People losing jobs left and right. Nobody's saying anything. But we're trying to figure this thing out, right? They're not really talking. Now, this is when I say they wait to get their marching orders, right? We right now are damn near one missile away from being in a full-fledged war with Iran. Whether that's your thing or not, I'm not knocking that if that is. But they're not talking about it. They won't talk about it because, like I said, these black conservatives, they only talk when they're told to give marching orders. That's it. That's all they're talking about. I mean, they're just, what's the word? They're drifters. That's what they are. They're drifters. And there's a great book. Actually, got it on order. Let me pull the name of it just so you guys can go and look up this book, because it talks about drifters and what they do and how they do. And this is not even so much the Republican play, but this is how they really are. So let me pull this book up and just give you guys the name of it. Let's see, who is it by? I got it on order. Give me 1 second here. All right. It's called The Grift, and it's by Clay King. So just Google The Grift by Clay King. Yep, Clay King. I said, right. I should have just made a little thumbnail of it, posted it up. Great book. I listened to it half on audio, and but I'm going to actually order the book. I kind of like to let my eyes read a little more. At least this way, I'm learning some words. I'm not like half them Republicans you see out there with talking about they don't want no Obamacare and they ain't got no damn teeth. So I'm not sure. So no, they ain't reading books. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, hey, this is where we at, right? So I go back to what I say, and I'm gonna keep harping on it, until somebody comes in and tells me otherwise. Where y'all at with everything that's going on, right? Nobody's saying where they're at all on this. It's just the same old. Let's wait for our marching orders, see what we can do, and go from there. But they have no substance to anything. It's just the same old crap, the same old rigmarole that they got all the time. And I'm still waiting on somebody, as the young guys say, stand on business, right? Because we know they're not standing on business. And the whole segregation thing, I talked about that the other night. And, social media is I want to cut so bad. Social media is a bad boy. Let me say it that way. And to see some of the blacks up there, people of color, whatever you want to call yourself, Black Americans, to see them up there saying, you know what? Bring it on. Bring on your segregation, right? As if they are hoping that segregation will come back, right? And I don't think they are, but I think they understand the president that we got. We've got a 3-card Monty P.T. Barnum person in the office, right? So all this shock doctrine they're doing is hoping that you're going to get out in those streets. And I'm going to tell y'all, like I said before, don't y'all get your asses, and I don't think ass is a cuss word, don't y'all get your asses out there in that street. I'm telling you now, don't get out there. You get out there and that hot steel hit you, I don't want to see your mama telling I had a good baby. You're a good baby, you stay your butt in the house. Because that's what they want you to do. Because see, if you notice, I'm leaning forward a little bit in this camera. If you notice, all these marches that they're having, there's not a lot of people that look like us there. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think people notice that the police aren't in any kind of riot gear. And we're talking thousands of people. As Trump would say, it was beautiful, big, right? Beautiful and big. Thousands of people marching in the street. And the police presence is very minimal. Very minimal. So it makes you wonder, okay, why aren't they in full riot gear like they were when it was Black Lives Matter? Whether you agree with Black Lives Matter or not, that's not my topic. But my point is, I'm using them as an example. You could have maybe 500 people come out and they got military gear on, and I'm seeing thousands of people marching down the street with their flags and everything they got going on, and the police out there eat that Dunkin' Donuts, chilling. Y'all see the difference? So don't get out there acting a fool. That's what they want you to do. Take it from me. If y'all can, if you can hold down this notion, we ain't gonna shop at Target. Well, you do the same thing. Don't get out there marching. Don't even do it. Stay your butt at home. There's big, as we like to say, there's bigger fish to fry right now, right? So don't get out there. We're doing no marching, all that kind of stuff. That we don't want that. But one of the things I find that's interesting, and you would think that, like I said, my brothers, that, I call them a muskrat with the Batman mask on their eyes. I'm talking about the old 1960 Batman who just had a mask on across the black of their eyes. To my muskrat brothers is, y'all ain't got nothing to say about they letting Elon sitting in the Pentagon in Pentagon meetings. What is this man doing there? This man is not an elected official. So I don't see why every American is not out in the street. Well, not us. Stay your ass at home. Just call your congressman and complain. But people should be outraged about the fact that this man is sitting out there, right? And not even sitting out there. I apologize because I am a little tired. That dentist thing just wore me out. Is in the meetings with Pentagons, right? And I said Pentagons with an S. He's in a meeting at the Pentagon, and he has no security clearance at all. None. And they've got him in these meetings. So this whole notion is, who's running the government? Why isn't the vice president, J.D. Vance, his cross-dressing self? Because we've seen the pictures of him wearing women clothing. That's why I think all these spicy Republicans, a lot of these black spicy Republicans, this is why they came out in droves. They found somebody who represents them. That's what it is. And they say, you know what? If he can walk around in women clothes, I can do it too. And I think that's why they got such a large voting block from men, whether it be black men, white men, of course they was going to get that, and Hispanic and Asian. And I think they just got a lot of them spicy ones because if they see the vice president is dressed up in makeup and wearing women's clothing, that's their guy. You know, that's just the way I see it. That's their guy. So, but at the same time, this guy is in the Pentagon getting briefings. So I need somebody to tell me, why is this guy who is not a elected official, he's not appointed to any position. They established that with Doge. He's not even over Doge according to them. So if he's not appointed, why is he getting this information? You see, now y'all will complain if Chase Bank release your information. You complain when Facebook released your information, and then you got somebody you don't know that's an African. Y'all know how we don't like Africans. Remember that? Remember Obama? Let's just keep it gully. Let's keep it, well, that's old way. Let's just keep it real. I'm showing my age to my keep it gully. Let's just keep it real. We got an African in the White House, and none of my black Republicans are not saying anything like they were when we had Obama in the White House, or an American citizen born here. But you can let an African who wasn't born here, just has a lot of business here financially, and y'all don't say nothing about that. You see, this is why when I say I call you out, I say you're full of, y'all know what the word is. I don't want to say it, y'all, but y'all know what the word is. That's what they full of at the end of the day. So it's like, okay, you can let this African, and I'm going to put emphasis on, you can let this African come over here and just run ruckshot with the government. And since I'm on the African thing, I read an AP article. And yes, I do read. After reading this article, that they're getting ready to allow 56, no, I apologize. My memory's going back. Up to 67,000 white South Africans come over here. And Trump's going to give them rapid refugee status. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me get this straight. We kick people out that are leaving war-torn countries, the Guatemalas, South America, everybody south of the United States, right? We know there are some countries that are just horrible down there. And if they come up here seeking help, we rather send them back where they're killing and gaping. I can't say the right word. I want to say they're gaping women, kids. All this stuff is going on, but you're going to give some Africans, I'm going to say it again, you're going to give some Africans, you're going to let a little over 67,000 Africans come over and give them immediate, rapid refugee status. So that means, now hold up, let's think about this. That means that he's going to be cutting some checks. Y'all remember when the whole Ukraine people came over here? They could be spending that money on us. You remember they sent all those people from south of the border to Chicago and New York, and everybody was complaining. They give them $13,000 in food stamps. Y'all remember all that, which was partially a lie. But you remember all that? See, they was talking, but now he talking about bringing these Africans. Oh, let me, you know what? Let me correct it. He's bringing the white South Africans over. Not that it mattered to me the color, but I'm just telling you the story in context. He's bringing the white South Africans over. So what does that mean for us over here as American, white or black? So you're going to bring somebody over that aren't in what we call they're not destitute. They're not in a section of tyranny, but you're going to bring them over here and they're going to get good American money. And we got people sleeping on the streets. We got veterans out here that are sleeping on the streets. So where my Republican brothers at? White or black? Where y'all at? Latinos, where you at? Asians, where you at? The Indians, where you at? The Palestinians. We remember all them Palestinians. Oh, we wanted Trump in because Trump's gonna help us out in this war. Man, Israel been bombing y'all since Friday after freedom, since Trump got in. And I pray that's over soon because I don't like to see any loss of life. But I'm just giving you the facts. So you can't get mad at Theo if Theo's giving you the facts, right? That's just the way it is. So at the end of the day, like I said, where my Republicans at? Where y'all at with this? Because I'm not seeing anything from the what they call themselves Black Republican manosphere. I'm not seeing that. You know, the log cabin ones, they always speaking up. But I'm talking about the ones that beat on their chest and always talk about America first. And here it is, you voted a guy in that said he wants America first and make it great again, but they about to bring some people from another country. And they got to give them somewhere to stay. They got to give them some food. They got to give them transportation. Who paying for all that? You and I. You and I paying for all that. And there's no outrage at all. See, I know why it's not outrage. You know why? Now, those on this left side of the aisle, we are outraged, but they won't give us a microphone to say nothing, right? Because they want to throw up all this. When it comes to us, now they want to go down the alphabet, which half of them can't read anyway. I don't know why but there's only so many letters they know. So they try to dress us with those letters, and they're easy to say. They kind of rhyme. So it's easy for them to throw that out there. But when it comes to this, nah, they ain't got nothing to say. See, because I'm gonna lean forward just a little bit. Try to see I want the moles and everything on my face in this camera. See, they can't say nothing because they daddy told them they can't say nothing. They waiting on daddy to give them marching orders. See, they don't mind Daddy Trump spend money like a drunken sailor. They don't care. If he say shut your mouth, they shut their mouth. That's what they do. All you got to do is just go on social media. You can go on any social media site right now and go to these Black conservative channels and see what they talking about. They ain't talking about nothing in the politics. They ain't talking about nothing in real world that can affect you. They ain't talking about that. They still trying to figure out how can a woman sleep in the car. Hell, I slept in the car plenty of times. It ain't that bad. You do what you got to do. That's what they focus on, not real world issues, stuff that can affect you, right? So, and making me think about that, I had a conversation earlier today, and we was, just talking about politics. And almost collectively, not all of us, but almost collectively, we almost all said, you know what? Screw it. Why should I keep voting to try to save people that don't want to be saved, right? And I'm like, yeah, it don't make sense. Because here's what I mean by that. I was watching the story as they was reporting on it. And you have the middle-aged white lady, she's probably in the late 40s. And they couldn't get their Republican congressman to come and do a town hall. Don't you think about that? So they decided, well, we need to reach out to AOC and Bernie. What? Who? Am I missing? What you reaching out to AOC and Bernie for? See, now they want the Democrats to come and talk. And AOC and Bernie, whether I agree with them or not, that's not the topic. But they have been going into red districts and talking to their people, meaning these Republicans. And now y'all want them, and I said it, y'all, you want them to come there and actually talk to you guys about what's going on because you want to air out your grievances, but you can't do it because the guy you voted for or a woman, we're not, we're not no male chauvinistics over here. We understand there are women in Congress, so and they rightfully so, they should be. I don't believe in a male patriarchy system. I believe everybody who has the skills and fits the description based on what they view as description. But I feel, hey, they have a right to be representatives in this country, judges, even the president if they want to. We don't put caps on nobody on this side of the aisle. We don't do like they do over there because we know they want they women barefoot in the kitchen. That's all they want. That's all these Republican men talk about. Oh, well, I want my woman to be at home. See what it is? And for those who hear me on the replay, any women, here's the thing. They tired of competing with y'all. See, they ain't going to get no education. This is why Trump is throwing this DEI stuff out, because they know it helps women more than men, especially more than black men anyway. And they know these black guys and white guys can't compete. So what are they going to do? They got to do something. See, they want y'all back in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant. That's what they want. I'm just spilling the beans. Y'all get mad at me all you want to. I'm just telling you the truth. You don't like it, it is what it is. There's 20 million other channels on YouTube. I respect if you don't like it, but the truth is the truth. The truth ain't always sexy, baby. And the truth don't look as good as me, but it is the truth. I'm just saying, keep it real with you. But let me get back to this particular lady. And they're trying to reach out for AOC and Bernie to come and talk to them. When you had a chance to vote for these kind of people, AOCs and the Bernies, and God knows, man, Bernie Sanders, Jesus Christ, this guy's a legend. I don't think people realize how long he's been doing what he's been doing. Bernie Sanders goes all the way back to SNCC, and I'm going to leave it at that, right? But they're asking them to come down and talk to them. Why do you want them to come talk to you? That you didn't vote for them. See, here's the thing. They know they're getting screwed. See, they so used to, and to my white brothers and sisters, y'all know the ones I'm talking to. This is not y'all. This is not everybody, because I don't paint everybody with a broad brush, but I do paint people for the way they are. So to the ones that know what I'm talking about, this is not for you. But see, they so used to voting, my own libs, the voting so that I will be affected. Somebody like me is going to be affected. That's what they're used to doing. So now, guess what? They're getting affected. See, they're starting to see the things that they thought we're going to lose. They losing too. You see, now they're realizing, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I thought it was just those people in Chicago and New York who was receiving welfare. No, you getting it too. You didn't know it. Now you know it, and they're getting ready to take it away from. So now what you want to do? You want to talk to somebody who's in the Democratic Party, and now you want them to come and talk to you. Say what? What do you want them to say to you? Huh? What do they want you to say? Now I'm glad I'm talking about this. Like I said, that going to the dentist just took something out of me today. I think my memory's already shot, but I think they took part of my memory, drilled into my mouth. But hey, we got to keep our teeth healthy, right? Today, sitting there, and I'm watching a representative town hall meeting, and the woman says, "Now I want y'all to listen, because I didn't know this. Now, Theo don't know everything. That's why I try to do my research and listen to others' opinions that may not look like me. They may not like what I like, but I want information, right? Knowledge is power, and education is the new currency. So now that we know that, let's try to get as much knowledge as we can and education. So the lady is saying, hey, we're not going to cut Medicaid or Medicare. And the guy's yelling, yes, you are. Yes, you are. He almost called her a skank. I was like, man, they getting deadly over there. I ain't calling no woman no skank now. And they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And finally, another guy steps up and says, well, what they're doing is, now listen to what I'm about to tell you. What they're doing, they're asking the Energy Committee to cut $880 billion out of their budget. And you say, okay, what's this guy? That don't mean nothing. You just talking. That don't mean, that's the Energy Committee. The Energy Committee, man, this is how I tell you how messed up government is. This don't even sound right, but this is factual. I had to go look it up. The Energy Committee is over Medicare and Medicaid. See, that's how they're getting ready to do the cuts. They didn't write it in the proposal in the bill that they voted on. They didn't write it, cut Medicare and Medicaid. They gave the Energy Committee the authority to cut $880 billion. See, y'all see how these devils work? You see? You see how these devils work? And because they're constituents, because you have somebody explaining this, and the guy couldn't explain it. He didn't know what the guy was talking about. So the guy had to say it again for him to get it. And I'm looking at his face like, man, he's a Republican, man. You got to tell, you're going to have to put some cue cards, write it in crayon. He don't understand. Because he's done been programmed to hate and own the libs. And now his ass getting on. And kicked all up inside down 40th Street. Right? So this is the play of what they're doing. And it's all about how the bill is set up in the wording. And if you don't know the wording or you don't know what committee things are under, you just don't know. So you say, well, what's going on? I'm like, man, you know what? This is crazy. This is crazy. They are literally right now getting ready to start to cut these programs, right? And what they did was Social Security. Let me tell you something. These are sneaky bastards. They sneaky. They like, that's why I don't like cats. Cats are real sneaky. I can't stand a cat. And but every time I try to see, I try to kick one. And so what they're doing is they'll tell you, well, we're not cutting Social Security, but they are cutting the services, meaning, i.e., you can't call somebody. If you try to call, it's so backlogged. Well, you would say, well, Theo, that don't make sense. Who cares? You know what? I got to deal with it all the time. I call about my phone bill, even though I know I ain't paid it, but my phone's still messing up. So I'm telling them I want a new phone. You can't put the bill on the back burner. You knew my credit was bad when you gave me the phone. So I want a new phone, right? We all been there. At least I've seen people in front of me doing it. I've been there once, twice myself too. So we're looking at that. But see, if you limit my access to you, so now you limit me from actually getting what I'm supposed to get. So if my check was short or my check didn't come and I've got to be on phone all day waiting and I'm frustrated, I hang up, I call back all day waiting, I'm frustrated. By the time you get I talk to somebody and get everything straight, guess what? I done lost 2-3 weeks or 2 days without my money. This is the play that they're trying to run. But none of my conservative brothers and brothettes, the spicy ones, none of my conservative sisters, white or black, none of them are talking about this. You see, they're not talking about what's really going on. See, that's why I'm here. That's why, like I said, you ain't got to like me, right? This is not a show of theatrics. I'm gonna give it to you the way it is, you know, and I stand on what I say. You can hate it, you can love it. It is what it is. But when you listening to all these jackasses out here, the last 6 months up to December, and what do they want to talk about? Even got some of y'all dumbass, I can say ass. Even got some of y'all dumbass black people out here questioning the stupidest. She ain't black enough. How black you got to be? How, for you black conservatives, how black does a person? Because I didn't know there was a black measuring stick that we use, right? And let me see if I got one. Oh, I ain't got no paper. I was going to use a paper bag test. See if I pass the paper bag test, right? And my hand's gonna pass it all day. My face may not. I'm going, dealing with going back into remission on my skin. So my face is a lot darker. But once we come out of this, God's willing, it's gonna brighten back up just like the rest of the body. So I'm dealing with that from a health standpoint. But where's the gauge on how black is black for the conservatives? Because half of them look like Michelin tires. But I'm trying to understand how black you got to be to run for office. Now, you can be Tim Scott black. You can be that kind of black, right? Sitting there telling Donald Trump, oh, I just love you. I'm like, man, look at this Sambo. You got to be kidding me. Now, I call one of the brothers Gambo. But Tim Scott is Sambo. You get me? He is the Sambo. So it's when we measuring the black measuring stick of the next person, if they want to run for presidency, because it's only when we hit a plateau as people of color, and even a white guy told me this, when we hit a certain plateau, now they got to question how black are we? You're black, you're black. There's such thing in this country, one drop rule. Whatever your daddy is, that's what you are. I don't care what's going on. Some say whatever your mama is, that's what you are. But here's the thing. This is the same party that send these black people out here to tell you color don't matter. And this is the same party that will be arguing with you all last year about who's black enough. When Obama ran, who's black enough? He ain't black enough. Wait a minute now. Let me get this straight. Man grew up poor. Not saying all black people did. But once he got his education, he went into one of the blackest cities in the country and did good work. That's not black enough? No. But then you get Trump and all these black Republicans. He going to do more for black people than's ever been done. How you know? We gave him 4 years. He didn't do nothing there. Then now he's got another 4, and I ain't seen no improvement within the black neighborhoods. Like I said, I'm not going to say black community because you don't own the police departments. None of you own judges. None of you are on the fire department. You're not on city council. Maybe 1 or 2 sprinkled out all over the place. But still black neighborhood. If you ain't owning those sectors, it's a neighborhood. You call it what you want. That's what I'm going to call it. Now, I got a right to call it that. Don't like it, it is what it is. But we're going to learn today. So at the end of the day, I'm not seeing any improvement that they said we was going to see, right? They said it. Theo didn't say it. They said. That's why I keep saying, I think my next couple lives, I'm going to title it, Where You At? Maybe they'll come in. Black Republicans, where you at? Because I need them to come in. I don't need what I just had the other day. And shout out to Mario for coming up, like the brother. Like I said, me and him talked on another channel before. But I need somebody, when they come, they got a good cell phone signal. I need somebody, when they come or call, they standing on business. They standing on what they believe in. Because I'll say this all the time. Because let me rephrase that. This is what they say all the time. They always want to come at you. Oh, well, why would you vote for a person if you don't know what they stand for? They say that, right? Now, we just seen last night, I had 2 up here, lovely Miss Shape and Mario. And they couldn't tell me nothing. People say stuff, but they just say stuff. What you mean they say stuff? Either you stand it. So you got so the man's a snake oil salesman. Well, yeah, but but then, girl wasn't black enough. Y'all, you see where we at with this idiocy? Who's black enough? Who's not black? You get what I'm saying? If you rocking with somebody stand on business. And that's why I had the call line going across the whole time. Stand on business. I ain't asking for much. I'm not asking you to do a whole lot. Just stand on business. That's it. You can do that. We good. We good. I don't have to like the answer that you tell me, but just give me something. Don't disappear all of a sudden. Because as soon as I swear, I wish the gentlemen that I conversate with in the morning time, we talk about an hour and a half or 2 hours a day in the morning. And when we talk, the majority, when it's a specific group, let me clarify. We generally talk about things that are going on in this country, in our states, in our lives, and how are we going to progress, right? And we would have some other people on that they was conservatives. And oh man, Trump gonna do the Trump. Yeah, we need to get the tariffs. The tariffs gonna take care of everything, man. When Trump get in, oh, don't you want to pay less taxes? Here's the thing, y'all. I'm talking to people talking about don't you want to pay less taxes, and they ain't paying no taxes. At least I'm paying taxes out of my check and writing IRS a check for overdue taxes. And they ain't paying none. But they telling me, well, don't you want? Oh, don't tell me what I want. Tell me what you want. I know what I want. Tell me what you want. They couldn't tell me. And I'm going to tell y'all, I listen, what I'm about to say, if I'm lying, I had my mama. I'm going to say it one more time. If I'm lying, I had my mama. These particular black gentlemen just said, look, man, I ain't voting for no woman. And I ain't voting for no black woman. That came out of their mouth. I'm telling you, and if y'all don't believe me, I'm gonna have to have one of the guys call in. I'm telling this guy's voice, and we're gonna talk about it. Because I'm telling you, this is what they was telling me. I ain't voting for her because she a black woman. They just straight out said it. They didn't know no issues or nothing. And let me tell y'all something. I don't have a problem when a person's honest. I don't. Because like I said, I don't have to agree with everything. If you honest, I can't knock it, man. That's your belief, whatever it is, it is what it is. You get what I'm saying? If you spicy, you spicy. You like Donald Trump? What Donald Trump? You like Donald Trump? With that old turkey neck, look like old turkey vagina the way his neck is. I ain't knocking that. Not knocking that. That's what you wanted, right? Okay, cool. My person didn't win. So now I'm like, well, my person didn't win. We're gonna keep it moving. But the people that supported them, I just want to hear from them on how the president's doing. Cause I like to be able to talk. Look, I don't like this, I like this. Maybe I can learn something. Crickets. Can't get a hold of them. None of them. Can't get a hold of none of them. See, they knew their job was to come in and sow discourse, right? They just want to just try to spread people apart with a bunch of bad information. And once they did their job, then they ran on about their business, right? One guy, now I ain't gonna lie, turn my head aside a little bit. One guy actually called me. He says, Theo, you on the phone? I said, no, what's up? And he says, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I didn't even vote. I wasn't sure what the issues were. You gotta be. Oh my goodness. I said, you can't make this up. You mean to tell me all this big talk, beating on your chest like an orangutan? And I gotta stop using monkeys in reference with black people. That's one of the racist things you can do. I gotta stop doing that. But for these particular ones, I'm doing it. Y'all can come at me later. And all that big talk. And they said they didn't vote because they didn't really understand the issues. See, these the black conservatives. This what we dealing with. You see, I expect you in L.A., Alabama. What's going on, Ghost Town Bully? I expect that, which is Lower Alabama, and you don't know what you're talking about. I expect that. When you living in Alabama and you say there ain't a black man, what's going on, Pop? A black man ain't never won a race, and Bubba Wallace is from Birmingham, Alabama. I expect your education system to be that horrible, because it is. But when I'm talking to these young brothers, because they're younger than me. If you're younger than me, I'm gonna call you a young brother. I don't care if you're a year younger than me. You can be one day. You're a young brother. Still get respect, right? But when I hear you talk all this rah-rah about politics and what you gonna do and what Trump gonna do, this, that, and the third, and then you tell me you didn't understand the issue, so you didn't vote? Shit. You gotta be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. See? That you can't find these guys now. And they all tell, man, I'm all about the military. You know, military. Ain't none of them join. And I ain't knocking it. If you did or didn't. If you did, kudos to you. You got mad respect for me if you joined the military. I come from a military family, so I know exactly what you went through. Now, I didn't go through the gas chamber down there in Georgia. I didn't get to do all that. Or up there in Jacksonville, North Carolina, I didn't get to do all that. Right? But I understand. I got you. I'm rocking with you. But all these other ones that say they rocking with the military and we watching them cut VA benefits, and you ain't saying a word. You see, y'all see how they play the game? See, now the damage has been done and they want to run it high. See, I'm calling them out. I want you to just take that mask off your eyes so you just be a regular big black rat. And I want you to come on out, talk to me. Ain't no need being scared of me. I ain't no big, I'm a small man. I'm still a man, but I'm a small guy. You ain't got to be where I ain't going to try to beat you up. I just want you to stand on business. What them young guys say, 10 toes down. I think they still saying that. I know that was stuff last year, right? But where they at now? They ain't talking all that. They ripping up stuff from left and all this, ain't saying a word. And I'm going to tell you something. I watched the thing the other day on C-SPAN. Y'all need to watch this shit on C-SPAN. And this lady was talking about they're trying to defund the police. It was in the proposal for this town in Pennsylvania, Hazeltown, Pennsylvania. And she's like, no, that ain't true. That ain't true. And I said, I know a couple people from Pennsylvania. And I remember my daughter roommate was from Hazeltown, Pennsylvania, and her cop, Officer Daniels was the last name. And I asked, I said, you still talk to that girl? She said, yeah, she's on my Facebook. I said, well, see if you can get a hold of her. And Dad comes on, we do a face-to-face. And because I asked him, would he come on the show? And he said, well, let me talk to the job and make sure, because I just want to ask just general questions. Good white guys, cop. I don't have nothing against being a cop. And he even said that their 2025 going into 2026 budget will be cut. Now, that came out of his mouth. So the party that said they want to defund the police, they're the ones defunding the police. You see the irony of that? They're the ones defunding the police. Now, what y'all think about that? That's why I say, where these black Republicans at? Where these spicy Republicans at? Talking all that stuff, because I need y'all to stand on business. Like I said, if my father VA benefits are cut, if my brother, and I've got 4 of them that served and one that's no longer here that served, y'all need to talk to me. Y'all need to tell me, like I said last time, tell me what I tell them when their benefits is cut. I need to know. I don't want to harp on it too long, but I'm just saying I can't get these guys to come out the closet. Well, that a lot of them staying in their closet. That's why they're spicy. But I can't get them to come out the closet for nothing. And just tell the truth. What's going on? I can't get them to do it. Nope. No way, no how. They ain't gonna do it at the end of the day. You feel what I'm saying? They won't do it. So it's like, all right, we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. Because apparently I'm thinking wrong, because I thought we had what's going on, heavyweight, my brother. I thought we had some real men And for those that are in there, if anybody want to call in, the line is up. Your number ain't gonna be on my phone, so I ain't gonna be like, oh, see, let me see what this calling. Oh, okay. Now once we open, I'm gonna look that. I don't do all that. So if you call, it ain't gonna show uh, on the phone anyway, because I got all that blocked. So it just rings, boom. I yap it up with you. We make it do what it do. You see what I'm saying? So that's where we at. But like I said, I'm trying to get something out of these black conservatives that I know, because man, they ain't saying nothing. They church mouth status right now. Ain't nobody talking. We got real issues going on. Like I said, we got Elon Musk getting Pentagon briefings, and he is not a member of Congress. He's not over Doge, as they say. He's not over nothing in the government. So why is this man getting Pentagon briefings? Somebody tell me that. Why is this man getting Pentagon briefs? Let me post what Ghost Town said. I was trying to read it. So let me just post it so I can read it that way. So I ain't crossing over myself. Said Theo with the smoke today. Seemed like you win, Theo. No one stepping up to debate. Well, I mean, it ain't all about a debate. It's just about, go. You know how it is, Ghost. If somebody say they believe in something, right? Then if they believe in it, and you should come and tell us why. That's all I'm asking. Just tell us why. But nobody wants to do that. It's like, okay, all right, I got you. This is how we roll it. They didn't want to do it. Now, I had somebody come on the other day, 2 people, but they didn't bring nothing to the table. And listen, I'm not saying I'm right about everything. I ain't got to be right. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if you voted for this person, you need to explain to me step by step what he's doing. Don't give me this, almost cuss. Don't give me this stuff about, well, he just got in office. Yeah, he's been golfing over 19 days. I don't want to hear that. He signed an executive order, and these things have an effect. I need it explained to me. Like I said several days ago or the other week, stock market still is not where it should be, right? The unemployment numbers are slowly going up. We're already predicted to be at a 2.8 net GDP. That means that we're losing growth in the economy, or according to the experts. Theo's no experts, so I'm regurgitating what I heard. Right? Now, I need them to tell me that, because guess what? I'm a blue collar worker. I'm not a business owner. No more. Say it that way. I go to work every day. I punch a time clock, just like a lot of people do. I bring my lunch pail in, eat my palmetto cheese sandwich, and clock back in and go to work. That's what I do day in and day out. So I'm a blue collar worker. But what I can't understand is the stuff that this guy's doing, I might be affected. So I need them to come up and tell me, because they keep saying, oh, we're going to get $5,000 back from taxes. And they done figure this. I was ready to cuss. They done figure this out now. We're not getting $5,000. It may be 20, not 20, I apologize. It may be $1,250. And that's got to be approved by Congress. And that don't go into effect to 2026. And guess what? Here's another thing they ain't telling you. Here's another thing they're not telling you. People that make $40,000 or less, they won't get nothing because they have more tax deductions. So they're not getting no money. Think about that. They ain't getting a check. So if we get 20% or whatever number they lie and say people under 40,000 are not getting a check. They put this stuff in black and white. We all can research this. But my spicy Republican brothers and brothettes aren't talking about it. See that? Oh, Trump gonna get $5,000. Then they don't say no more about it. They do the same thing he do. They just throw something out there to distract you. But then when you decide to read, now it's a problem. You find out the truth, and they don't want to talk to you no more. I'm telling y'all. Y'all listen. I must use the word y'all. You guys, that's better. You guys will not believe, from September till January the 19th, the amount of people that I used to talk to on the phone, giving up my time which I don't like to give up my time because my time is very important. And they would be, they was on the Trump train. They'd call you choo choo. They on the Trump train. You see what I'm saying? That it used to be a group back in the day. Was it Ghost Town DJs? They sing that song, "Come on, y'all, and do the choo choo." I can't remember that. Lord knows, my Barry White voice has been gone from smoking all them cigarettes. So, but either way, they was on the train. Once he got elected, man, shoot, they wasn't talking nothing. You see what I'm saying? They wasn't saying a word, nothing. So I'm like, where y'all at? All this stuff going on, man, and y'all ain't talking about this at all. Yeah, I need to know something, man. And now I'm sorry. I know Heavyweight gonna drop a channel, a video pretty soon because there's some stuff that I had liberty to talk to him in the last couple of days, and I sent him some information. Hopefully, and I know he's gonna look stuff up. He will actually look it up and give you the facts on it and let you know. So when he drop a video, I'm gonna be right there giving him the thumbs up. Boom, drop it because I know he gonna bring the pain with it. But see, let's talk about it. Because at the end of the day, it's a lot of stuff going on. They ain't telling y'all what's going on. They distracting us with all this foolishness. You see, all this spiciness and stuff, that's what they doing. They distracting us. That's all it is. They ain't telling us nothing. And you can see it. People ain't shopping no more like they used to since this fool been in office. They just ain't doing it. And then, how can I word this? This is to the trucking community, a select few that constantly complain about Pete Buttigieg, the guy who's over I think he's over Department of Transportation. Now we got a new guy, and they was cheering this guy on, but see, this guy showed them, I ain't doing nothing for y'all, nothing. I'm talking about some EPA rules, but that ain't got nothing to do with trucking. I ain't worried about trucking. We just gonna strip some EPA laws back from emissions from these major companies and factories. See, they thought it was gonna be about trucking, and then when the guy posted the video, right? This is what was so funny. When the guy posted the video, right, and he didn't read anything first. He just posted it. Then when he realized it, man, he was sitting there like a big old plate of egg food, young like. That's how he was looking. You see what I'm saying? So, and this guy has said he's only giving money out based on how many babies are being born in that area. This is the kind of stuff we dealing with. You see what I'm saying? Let me see what Pac said. Pac said, deported violent criminals, non-taxpayers, pause the funding of my tax dollars, war in Ukraine, holding the IRS and federal government accountable for fraud, waste, and abuse. Now, I'm with you on that, right? And some of it we may disagree, but I'm with you. We need to hold people accountable for waste and abuse in the federal government, right? We need the IRS needs to be a little more efficiency. They're gonna keep keep the IRS. We ain't getting rid of that. I would love for them to get rid of it. But the waste and fraud, oh yeah, you're right. Deport the violent criminals. Yeah, see, I agree with that. I want them out of here, the violent ones. But here's the thing: they labeling everybody that come over violent. So you mean to tell me this grown woman with her child who's escaping a violent situation, we can't help her? But at the same time, you got the president now wanting to bring over the white South Africans like they being treated bad. Because see, they being treated bad because they was told, hey man, you got to give up that land. That's our land. And they'll tell you, well, they taking our land. No, that ain't your land. See how that works? That's not your land. But the president wants to bring them over. Now, who gonna fund it? Somebody got to fund it. You got me? See, so we all on the same page to a certain degree. I'm going to keep it real. To a certain degree, we all on the same page. You got me? But at the end of the day, I know what I want to see, right? So here's what Theo want to see, because we're at the 1 hour mark. Theo want to see stronger investments in social programs. I want to see huge investments in education, but from the technology side, right? We don't need kids that are in high school taking general math. See, that's that red state. I'm just going to cuss. That's that red state shit. How you in high school taking general math? That means you have multiplication, addition, subtraction, and multiplication and division. Why are people in high school taking this kind of math? That should be done after the 8th grade. Now, if you can't make it past algebra, I get it. But general math? We got people in high school taking, so you in high school and you can't add. You can't subtract. You got me? See that's where the money needs to go to. That kind of programming. But it's not doing it. So we're graduating dummies. So I'm with you. You know, let's pause certain things and how we do stuff, but we got to really figure it out, because we got a lot of violent criminals here we need to address. And now, Pot, you may agree or disagree, but I'm going to put it out there. The majority of the violent criminals we got here in this country, in this so-called, they always say blacks are the most violent, right? So I'm going to stick with blacks because they say we the most violent. Let's be honest now, because I know Pocky a little bit younger than me. But the majority of the problem with all this violence, they got daddy issues. They ain't had no daddy growing up. That's why they violent. See, when you ain't got no daddy growing up, all you know how to do is argue. When you ain't got no daddy, you got to show somebody how bad you are. You ready to scrap because you ain't got no daddy. See, we got to fix that problem first, brother. And I think as men, we can agree that's a huge problem we need to try to fix. Now, don't get it twisted. Every man that didn't grow up without his father, he's not a violent man. There are some women that have done a great job raising their kids by themselves, and you get all the credit and kudos from Theo. Don't get it twisted. But if we gonna deport the violent criminals, we need to figure out why we got so much violence here. So if I can back it up again, when I say education, I look at what China's doing. And I want y'all to think about this. Around 1987, around that time, we were number one in the world in everything, even obesity. We always been number one in it. I mean, this country, America is a big back country. That's just admitted. There's so many big backs here. I mean, mine's done slim down a little bit, but it's a big back country. But we always been number one. Well, where it counts, we keep dropping. So I was watching a video in China, and in this video, they put a school in a poor area where it never was a school. Kids finally had a chance to go to school. And in this school, now what y'all think about this? Because China invests in their education. We're de-investing. And the kids are watching the teacher like you're watching me. And I'm giving the lesson and you've got your books. But there's a camera, there's an AI camera that's watching the kids. So if the teacher's talking and if the kid face kind of like, the camera picks up on it at that point. And it starts looking at the kid and it starts realizing, well, this is the point where the kid is struggling with the lesson. You see, that's what they do over there. What do we do here? When we see the kid might be struggling, let's give him some medicine, dope him up. Let's just dope the kid up. That's all we need to do. Let's just dope the kid up and we go from there, right? We're going to get the parents some money. Now, this is real talk. This is real talk. And this is always done in the black area. It may be in the white area too. I don't know. I've never heard a white person complain about it. But in some of these black areas, they would give the mother a check. So the mother will agree to keep the kid on drugs. You see what I'm saying? This ain't Theo. This Theo telling you. Anyway, I was going to say Theo talk. This Theo telling you what they doing. You see? That's the thing. I mean, that's right. Heavyweight put up there. Heavyweight said it's monitoring whether or not they are paying attention. You are right, Heavyweight. Now imagine if we had that in our school system. See, we don't need to be suspending anybody. We need to figure out why they at their point of suspension. What's causing them to get to the point where they have to be suspended? Apologize. That's what we need to figure out in this country. You see? So I need all my spicy Republican brothers to give me some answers, man. I mean, listen, I'm involved in where I live. And if y'all got something y'all are doing, my Southern twang came out. Y'all got something y'all doing and it's working down there, let me know so I can try to incorporate it up here with my people. Because I want all kids to win. I'm not like these Republicans. They only want you to win if you can afford private school. Then they say, well, we'll give you vouchers. And some of these schools, they're taking money from the public school to give it to the private school so they can have vouchers. Then they say, oh, it's all about school choice. Oh, it's about school choice, huh? They tell you that. Okay, well, for all you black Republicans, I'm leaning to the camera a little bit, who said it's all about school choice. Y'all need to go get that black woman up in Ohio. I think she's out of jail now and fight to get her record cleared because she sent her kid in a school in another address and they found out and they arrested her ass. It's like 4 or 5 years ago. See, that was school choice. But see, they wanted her kids to stay in this public school where the kid won't learn nothing. And she risked it all for her kids' education. See, I need y'all to be like, I need that. We all need to be like that. You know, all this other crap, I don't know what y'all talking about. That's what we all need to be like. So I'm trying to figure out what we doing here. You know, we just talking about it. We trying to do something. Oh, you red, I'm blue, and this and that. Oh, but hey, you can be red all you want. You can be blue all you want. But I need somebody to tell me what's going on, why we are predicted 2.8% GDP net growth. I need to know that. I need to know why the employment numbers are going up, not down. I need to know why the stock market was dropping and now gradually starting to come back. Because see, what people don't want to talk about, there's a lot of people been let go in the federal government. And once they start losing jobs and they start cutting back spending, that's going to hurt the private sector. You see? And I need y'all to tell me, because what y'all champion, y'all all champion, oh, Trump's going to get us out of all these wars. He didn't have no wars when he was in, which is a lie. He's going to get us out of all these wars. Biden got us in all these wars. We need to get out of that. And so y'all tell me why he bombing in Yemen? Why he bombing the Houthis? And I probably pronounced that wrong. But why he bombing them? They already talking about they're going to put ground troops out there. They're already talking about this. So the man that y'all champion, oh, he ain't going to get us in no war, Ukraine. But now there is a 51%. I'm going to say 51. That's higher than half. I know some of y'all can't count. 51% that we getting ready to send troops back into the Middle East over and fight in Yemen. Now, where y'all at? Where y'all at? We y'all know how. Look, if apocalypse is still in here, brother, just give me a 1 if you agree that there is a huge cost to send people overseas to fight a war, to even be ready for a war with all the equipment we have to move. And those said Trump won't have no wars under Trump. and we may be going into a war. That's a huge cost. You see? Let's see what he put down. Let's see. As soon as we make Canada a Commonwealth, 51 state, the next few years, all economic problems will solve. Not going to happen, brother. Not going to happen. There is nobody in Canada I know, and this is Theo speaking in general. There is nobody. Think about if Canada, what would they have to give up to be part of the United States? Let's see. Now they got to pay health care, right? They got to go into a different tax structure. You see what I'm saying? No, I don't see them wanting to come over here and be the 50%. And let me tell you something now. You go tell the country they're going to be the 51st state, that's an act of war. You're talking about act of war. We don't need no more people. Canada fine right where they half of y'all. Listen, Canada speak French and English. Now half of y'all can barely speak English. Y'all want them coming up here. Well, you got to speak the language. You can't be speaking in your language. Well, why y'all want to take us over if we can't speak our language? No, go get you a Rosetta Stone or go to a class and learn French. Because that's what's going to happen. In our mob, Canada don't need us for protection. They got their own army. They got their own army. Now, I don't know what he means. Let's see what he said. What Apocalypse say. We won't ever see boots on the ground in the war in the Middle East again in our lifetime. Brother, I hope so, but they talking about sending them out there to Yemen, so we'll see. Mob got protection. I don't know what he's talking about, protection. Guess he's talking about a condom or something. I don't know what Pop put up. Pop said Hawaii and Alaska thought the same. Well, Apocalypse, Hawaii did not join the United States willy-nilly. They only joined the United States. Now you can check this. You can look this up. They only joined the United States because of the Dole family. The Dole family didn't want to pay tariffs to import sugarcane and products over here. So they paid a lot of money. They went to the Queen and said, you need to become part of the United States. By the way, y'all look at her. She's a black woman. Went to the Queen, and the Queen said, hell no, ain't going to happen. Pulled off her earring. She read this scrap. You know what they did? They had the Navy on the beach, and they told her, either become part of the United States or we will let loose and kill your people. That's a fact. Now, I'm paraphrasing a lot. Y'all don't believe me? Go look it up. There's documentaries on it. And if I'm wrong, come back, cuss me out, say what you want. Don't care, pick the poison. But that's just a fact. That's how we got Hawaii. We got Alaska because Russia was slipping. But trust me, I think Hawaii were rather going back to being their own country. You talking about an island. They're not a country. An island that people came in and they're not allowed to speak their native language. We doing that again? We're going to make the Canadians so they can't speak their own language? Yeah. Mob said Canadian Army is nothing like ours. Okay. There's a lot of armies nothing like ours. You're right. But I don't want to sit up here and talk about going to war with a country that hasn't done anything to us. I don't want to talk about we trying to take a country over that hasn't done anything to us, because we preach around the world when other countries try to do that. Yeah, we should do that. Why? What, y'all don't want Mexico with all them fine women down there? All them Afro-Mexicans? Y'all ain't seen none of them fine black women down there in Mexico? Y'all talking about Canada? Am I missing something? There's some sisters down there. Now look, we gonna take over something. Let's take them over. Or wait a minute, I got one. I need y'all opinion on this. Wait, let me read Apocalypse comments here. He put one in about Australia and Europe is contributing to Canada's defense as we speak. So they're kind of spooked. Correct. Hey, look, we got Trump in office. I'm spooked. We got Trump in office. We don't know what this fool gonna do. This man has got 10% dementia, 10% foolishness, 10% asshole, 10% who knows what else, right? And another 10% of crackpot. Now we got 50% of I don't give a F. That's what we got in the presidency. So I'm with you on that one. I mean, I be doing the same thing. Like, nah, we ain't doing that. You can take that to the bank. You see what I'm saying? But like I was saying there, so how would you guys feel if Mexico decided to say, hey man, listen, we want our part of the United States back? Would y'all have a problem with that? That's a question to everybody. Well, Mexico government is not all cartel now. I mean, cartel's the biggest employer. Hell, man, we could look now, Pop. We can't go around calling nobody corrupt. Now, we done did some stuff in this country. We corrupt right now. That's the pot calling the kettle black. The Mexico corrupt. What? We ain't no saints. We the only country that say we a Christian nation and we about God, and we go around killing everybody. So, yes, as in Texas, how do you feel? What Mexico had more than Texas. Now they had whole territory. So how do you guys feel about Mexico saying, hey, we want Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, not Nebraska. I don't think the territory. Yeah, it's first always up there. But let's just say Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. New Mexico, apologize. And Mexico said, hey, we want that back. How would y'all feel about that? Would you agree that, hey, you know what, you're right, they should get it? I'm just, what y'all think about it? Yeah, somebody give me an answer. Mob talking about giving up Texas wouldn't be wise. Texas is literally the fastest growing state. I could care if they're fast growing or not, Mob. All I know, they red, and as far as I'm concerned, God can smite them today, and I wouldn't blink eye. Maybe about 5 people. I'll tell you, just spare these 5. Rest of them can kill them all. And wouldn't bother me. So, but hold up. So you saying that we shouldn't give up Texas, so that means that Canada shouldn't give up Alberta. That's what you're saying in the comments? We shouldn't give up Texas? No, it's not about what. Look, I'm asking the questions. Let me see. These conservatives right here. When they can't think, they got to ask you. Here's the question. Ask me. You will be okay with losing the resources Texas offered? You think Canada's gonna be okay with losing the resources of the oil they got in Alberta, all the wood and timber? You think they're gonna be okay with that? You see how that was? You see, when you ask a real question now, oh, well, you gonna be no, you think we're talking about Canada, but I threw them in there as a caveat for you. Because see, now what you're saying is, let's just keep it real. What you saying is, no, man, I ain't gonna want them to take nothing to my country. Well, you shouldn't want America to take nothing to Canada neither. That's how that works. And you put that in your pipe and smoke it. Whatever you young guys are smoking this day, I don't know what you guys smoke. Let's see what Park put up. I just think if we take Canada, already have Alaska, geographically, we could become a superpower, undisputed, kind of like the USSR, China. Yeah, but you know what, Park? Let's be honest, man. China and Russia's teaming up. That's why they have BRICS. And BRICS is trying to get away from the dollar. And they want to trade with the United States is getting ready to be a region of power in the next 10 years. Because the way these other countries are growing, they're making money. We are just consumers. We don't make nothing. We don't make nothing. You see what I'm saying? Ma put what we need from Canada. Mob, you got to come to class early when you say what we need from Canada. I think you need to see what all is imported from Canada. Yeah, we got to be careful trying to make ourselves a separatist country, because a lot of the rules and regulations and the way things are designed, we just can't go back and say we're not going to take nothing from nobody. One, we don't have the resources for the mining and drilling and the time it takes to do these things, and these countries are already doing it. And Mob, you down there in Georgia, where that wood come from in that house you live in? You know, you can go up in your attic and tell you where the wood came from. Sometimes I had it stamped up there, and I can let you know if it's pressed wood or not. Just take a picture of the wood and send it to me, and I'll let you know. Because we don't have enough wood here. That's why we need that Canadian wood. Now, I know for some of those spicy Republicans, they think I'm talking about something else, but I'm talking about wood from trees. You can only get so much Zegler wood from Germany. You can only get so much VM Homes wood from Australia. We don't have enough trees to produce the amount of woods I'm talking about woods with an S, that we need. That's just a fact. It's just what it is. And then you got people here. See, this is what I love. I love this right here, right? People put this up here. Let me see. He talking about exotic wood. Yeah, you. I could tell you don't go to Home Depot. You probably got your fingernails polished, clear polish, because you don't go to Home Depot. You talking about what? It's so exotic wood. Ain't no such thing as exotic wood. All right, the man put up here. We have the resources, but we have too many regulations stopping us. We do have resources, but at the same time, we have to sell those resources, and we don't have as many resources as people think we have. So, but like I said, go to Home Depot, Mob, and look at some wood, because there's no such thing as exotic wood. Let's talk about that wood made out in California from the redwood trees, which is very expensive. That was most of the houses that was built in the Northeast in the early 1600s, 1700s. They're still standing because of those trees, and they're fireproof. So that's what it is. Hear this man talking about he go to Home Depot more than me. Not if you talking about exotic wood, you don't know nothing about no Home Depot, but I'm not going to argue with you. You more like a Lowe's man, like to get low. Let's see what APOC's talking about here. Trump telling Canada either get down or lay down. Unfortunately, it's just too much going on in the world. Literally, World War III already. Yeah, we're getting close to World War III. And here's the thing: I support Canadian George Ford. I support him. He's standing up for his people, right? And I don't care where you're from. You always got to support a man that put his people first. He ain't laying down for Trump. He ain't laying down. Not happen. Not happen. So, but it is what it is. And you're right. It's an undeclared war. Now I'm gonna put this post up. Park is right. What people don't realize is when we do tariffs, that is a undeclared war. That literally is an act of war when you do tariff, but it's just you're not sending in military troops. It's a war, a financial war is where you're at. But understand, people keep talking about Canada. We got China. We got to worry about. They got way more people than we do. So y'all want to talk about going to war? Go over there, and they got 1 billion people waiting on you. They will Hong Kong fool y'all asses to death. You hear me? You make it. You play, act like you know. That's about what I can say. You better act like you know at the end of the day. But hey, man, that's where we at. And I went over a little longer than I planned on. Because I got to get up in the morning. But hey, I appreciate everybody that came in. Heavyweight, Pac, Mob, Ghost Town Bully T Hill was in here. I don't remember who else was up in here earlier. But if I didn't mention your name, I apologize. Like I said, I appreciate you guys coming in. You ain't got to stop by. But I appreciate that you did. And God's willing, I'll be back Thursday to do it again. And we're going to talk about some stuff, man. And hey, if you know me personally, you got my number. You want to chop it up about it. If you want to talk about it, I'll talk about it. I ain't having a bunch of foods coming on screen. I think that's just not going to work. People want to come in. It'll be one on the screen. And if you want to call in, you can call in. 5 minutes a call. If it's a woman, hey, we can talk all night. I kick these hard legs out. You know what I mean? But other than that, like I said, I appreciate everybody coming in. And other than that, man, all I can say to everybody, enjoy your weekend. If you're out there trucking and you're trying to get home, pray to God that you do get home safe to see your family. If you're just going to relax this weekend and do it, and hey, man, we all leave out tomorrow, run around, just understand. Somebody didn't wake up and you did. So enjoy life. Enjoy yourself. Stay prayed up and strapped up. And hey, guess what? We'll do it again, my brother. Y'all be safe.